And we're live. Okay. Boy, oh boy, do we ever have a bit of recap to do. Last time, you guys ventured into the Deathlands. You made your way across that dangerous, abandoned region known as the Lost District of Duskfall, which was left to the Deathlands several centuries ago. It is full of ghosts and stranger spirits, all seeking to devour life to stave off the shrieking madness that most of them succumb to. All is strange gothic ruins and crumbling towers. At one point you were chased by this gigantic dead thing, some demon no doubt, that heard you guys as you fled one danger and into the arms of another. But eventually, you made your way to your target. As you've been seeking the ghost, where it resides in the ruin where you now stand. The old crumbled ruins of a mansion that housed an occult collector and his stable of guardian ghosts. You were seeking the hideously carven box with a pair of severed hands inside, said to contain the spirit of the visionary inventor who also who worked on the lightning rail that's changed life in Duskfall greatly. Here in the dark, at this very moment, all hell is completely broken loose. Suri is full on having a tea party with a ghost. She has kind of had a psychotic break, and due to too much stress buildup, she tried to resist the frightful aura, the supernatural fear caused by some ghosts, and it proved to be too much for her. And so she just sat down on the floor with the ghost she'd already befriended, and is full on having a tea party, sitting on ghostly chairs, sipping poisoned ghost tea out of misty china teacups. And she's conversing with the ghost of some Taikarosi man with horns coming out of his face. So Suri is not being of much help. We're treating her current state like a severe injury. So she will have to push and build up stress again in order to do anything. Meanwhile, Dredge had just located the target box. Suri already uncovered, she had gotten intrigued by another artifact. Which was what? Do you recall what it was? Suri?
Wasn't it the
Yes, the octopus in a jar. Kind of swimming.
I was thinking it was some kind of weird fish tank, so that's kind of close, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was frozen, if I'm not mistaken.
A frozen octopus. Less like an octopus and more like some, several different creatures mashed together with tentacles. Quite a strange creature in a jar. She had uncovered in some of the ruined timbers of the building. But Dredge had just cast his mind out and discovered a coffin. Or a sarcophagus, where the box lies preserved at the rear of the building. However, this angered the guardian ghosts, and so Suri, there were three. Suri took out one of them, and is now having a tea party with it by befriending it. But two of them seem to still be bound by some old magic, and have turned on you, and are seeking to rip you apart, or rip perhaps your souls apart, your life essence, in some kind of feeding frenzy. So that's the situation with Dredge.
Max, you had also said he recognized the sarcophagus, I think, like the person it was of. But we don't have to delve into that now. I just wanted to remind you that I thought you had said something like that. So if we survive the next 10 minutes, let's delve back into that.
Yes. Absolutely. All right.
And then there's Ogre.
And then there's Ogre. Ogre was kind of in a standoff with some other scavengers out in the Deathlands. But as they've come up to see what you guys were up to, he finally lost it and decided to go on the attack. So he injected himself with some of the rage potion and charged out of the building right into the teeth of the electrified crossbow bolts that are being shot at him, or harpoon spears actually, which are being shot at him.
This is far from the worst thing that's been shot at Ogre.
So with the rage, you are unable to run away or unable to stop until you've slain everything around you. You can't tell friend from foe.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a whirling, hammer spinning or bow staff spinning tornado of destruction.
Oh, I've got my hammer out. This is not my bow staff. I'm using my heavy weapon.
Right. Swinging your hammer with your strength and resistance to pain and irrational aggression all increased. So, that's where we're at. Ooh, who wants to go first?
I don't mind going first if nobody else wants to.
I
I
don't
mean, I
feel
think
strongly.
that what you do is going to affect a lot of what we do.
Okay.
Well, he just ran out of the ruins of the building.
Any one of us can basically die in the next 10 seconds, so like,
All
it
right.
doesn't really matter.
All right, Ogre it is. So, Ogre, you are immediately shot.
Yeah.
As you charge
Yeah, see,
out
exactly.
the door.
Who's going first? Ogre, you're dead.
Now, you can resist this, but
No, I can't.
Oh,
I have 1 stress left before I get another trauma. So, no, I really can't resist it.
all right.
I do, however, currently have a resistance to pain because of the rage essence.
Okay.
So, yeah. I imagine that's going to be a situation of I take the harm, but it may not apply to what I'm doing right now.
The harpoon's
Because
just
I
like
just
a big
don't
splinter
care.
to you.
Very inconvenient splinter. Okay, take 2 level 1 harms. Harpooned.
Alright. One of those gets upgraded to a level 2 because I do not have. Actually, you know what? No. I still have I've got a heavy load and I've only used 2 of it so far. So I'm going to go ahead and use 5 to say that I'm wearing heavy armor.
Nice.
Flashback
So-
to Ogre gearing up for this battle, strapping on some kind of armor across his body.
I feel like this is like the Back to the Future 3 thing, where you've got like a steel like door under your coat for no reason. It just clangs off of that. Like, ah.
Wearing a good old-fashioned metal breastplate underneath
So-
the hazmat suit.
So you can. So these are separate. These can be resisted individually. So which one are you using the armor on?
I'm gonna resist both. This is not just regular armor. This is heavy armor, so I
Oh.
get 2 resistances.
Oh.
I'm using 5 load for this.
Oh,
So
you're
they-
doing armor and heavy armor?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so they both shoot you, but one of them kind of sparks as it clangs off of your off of the armor, the heavy armor you've been trudging around with this whole time. The other harpoon, however, lodges in your leg, and though you don't feel the pain, it is going to hook into you, and it's connected by a wire to the weapon that this figure in hood, goggles, and mask is pointing at you. Okay?
Okay.
And he is going to be pulling. This is a secondary trigger that he's about to throw. A switch. There's 2 of them at the top of the stairs, and then there's 3 more some ways down the stairs.
Okay.
Kind of looking all around. At the same time, let's see, one thing I forgot to mention is the distant screaming.
Oh, right.
Getting closer and closer. What would you like to do, Ogre, as you are about... The rest of them on the stairs are turning their guns toward you. Oh, that's right. One of them has already... There were 3 at the top of the stairs. One of them has been just cannoned off of the side by the first swing of your hammer.
Yes.
Just crunch and thrown from the steps to fall possibly to his death, and to have his license devoured by ghosts and demons. But that one of them was just immediately taken out, but now you've been harpooned, and the rest of them are rushing up to you. The one that just missed you is loading in another harpoon.
Okay.
The guy who's about to flip the switch that harpooned you, and then there's 3 more that are pointing their weapons up the stairs and coming up.
Okay, yeah. So when Ogre unleashes physical violence, it's especially frightening because he is savage. So he's going to just charge fearless headlong into the first two guys that are up in front of him, and he's just going to be knocking them left and right, and hopefully just the display of Ogre in combat will be frightening enough that it'll buy him enough time that he can deal with them before the other three that are down below can muster up the nerve to act.
You can only engage one of these guys at a time. They are professionals who have spaced themselves out.
Okay. And I will be starting with the one who did hit me.
Okay.
And just getting ready to use that secondary trigger.
All right. Make a roll.
All right.
So this is obviously going to be skirmish. And you are in a desperate situation.
Yep.
You are in a desperate situation, and the effectiveness of this... I mean, you're basically trying to outrun his pulling of a secondary trigger that he was about to do anyway. So the effect here is going to be limited.
Okay. Does it get boosted by the effects of the rage vial?
Strength resistance to pain and irrational aggression. Yes, it will. So that will modify. That will modify your position. But it will modify the effect to standard.
Okay. And then Devil's Bargain?
Devil's Bargain. Yes. Yes, I have a Devil's Bargain for you.
That's the worst way he could have said that.
Here in the power of the Deathlands that you are gripped by, this rage demon that rides your back and drives you forward will allow you to achieve a catharsis in this moment. On its terms.
That sounds way too interesting to pass up. Alright, here we go. That's a 4.
The most interesting possible result. 2, 2, 1, 4.
Oh man, so glad I took that bargain.
Yep.
I don't know if I have a sound effect for this, but you hear static in your ears as you are electrocuted. The secondary trigger is pulled as you come storming up, your body jerking around. But your extreme power of your muscle over your muscles and the insane momentum that your body and hammer are building up, you fully crash into this guy, and there's no cliff for him to go off of. He gets slammed into the wall with a sickening crunch. You can feel bones breaking, and hot blood spatters your face as his scream is cut short. The electricity is burning through your body. There's a... He is down. Very down. The other one has reloaded and brings his harpoon to bear on you again. The other three swarm up the stairs. And they're like, "Rare import, stand down!" Which, of course, you cannot do.
Yeah, not a chance.
They did
What
not
level
do
of
their
harm?
research.
You are taking a level 3 harm.
Okay.
Electrocuted.
Well, the only way I can continue this fight is through the rage vial, if that lets me get past this, because I need help with any action that I want to take at this point because of that electrocution.
It's a good question. Can't stop until they're all broken. Now, when you have a level 3 harm, you can push yourself to do stuff, isn't that right?
I can, but I'm not in a position where I'm able to do that. If I do, I will get a trauma.
Nasty. Nasty. I mean, I already applied the Rage Vial to your effect.
Right.
So you kind of took this guy out in one fell boom.
Yeah, I'm happy to say that I continue fighting even if it is just ineffectual.
I think that's probably, like,
Yeah.
you have been so badly burned, like your muscles aren't necessarily working properly. Now, of course, the pain isn't going to bother you. Tricky. Trying to figure out how to adjudicate this. I think... What do you think should happen? Oh,
So
I forgot something. Wait.
okay.
You slam your hammer into this guy with this horrible, sickening crunch. His torso caves in, and he looks up at you. Blood pouring out of his eyes and mouth. And he has the face of Tashette Hicks, the man who has taken up with your woman.
Oh,
What
my
are the
God.
odds?
Your muscles burning over every inch of your body. You whirl around. And so does the other guy. And so do all of them. They all have his smirking face when he whispered to the Bluecoats who you were and got you arrested. And you feel through the rage, you feel this intense delight that you get to kill Tashette Hicks 5 times over.
Okay, that makes this a lot easier. I'm going to push myself and give myself a trauma deliberately
Oh,
so
great.
that I can fight these guys.
So the only untraumatized remaining person in the score is Dredge.
Yep. Yeah. And as I push myself, I'm using not to be trifled with so that I can engage a small gang on equal footing in close combat.
This seems like the right way for you to go out.
And that was the devil's bargain.
Yep. And I think it's fitting that in this particular situation, the third trauma that he gets is unstable.
Madness is like gravity. All you need is a little push.
Well, Ogre just got a big one.
Great line from Kenny in the Twitch chat. A quote, actually.
Oh, nice.
All right. Oh, man. This is it, I guess. You're gonna make another skirmish roll.
All right.
This is desperate. You've used not to be trifled with. So your effect will be great.
And that's a 5.
Well, you can't take any more stress, so...
I have a feeling a level 4 harm is incoming.
The rage pounding in your ears. You whirl. Your hammer smashes the harpoon gun aside with a burst of electricity. Before the man can react, your fist is around Tashette Hicks's throat, and you hurl him bodily from the stairs, ripping off his gas mask in the process. And he falls, choking. Tashette Hicks runs up the stairs from below, takes aim, fires. The harpoon, tunk, right in your shoulder. You don't even feel it. You spin, grab the wire that the harpoon is attached to, and yank the gun from his hands. Your hammer slams onto Tashette Hicks's forehead, breaking him open like a coconut. Boom! You don't even feel it, but your body is kind of lifted into the air by the impact of another harpoon. This one right in your stomach. Again, you are unstoppable. You come crashing down on Tashette Hicks as he flips the switch and sends another few thousand volts through your body. And you just pop his eyeballs with your thumbs. The last Tashette Hicks runs. But you're not going to let him get away. You go bounding down the stairs after him, more falling than running, but you don't feel the impacts. You do feel the back of his head. Long hair. And you hear the high-pitched, womanly shriek as you slam Tashette's face into the stairs, going down several. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. Ba-boom. You look up, and a glowing figure has come riding up. Down at the bottom of the stairs. But somehow you've made it down to the bottom as well. This glowing, shimmering lion. Like smoky gray fire. And riding it, Syrah. She looks down at you, sad. Come on, Dad, she says. Leave them alone. And let's go play. You feel the ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Slowing. Stopping. The rage leaving your body. Would you like to say anything?
That's all I ever wanted to do, baby. Let's go.
You ride off, joining Syrah. Meanwhile, that's what the lion looks like.
Neat.
Awesome.
And I'll grab Syrah too.
So I feel like we definitely should have done him last. Because whatever happens next is not going to be that good.
It's okay. I didn't know it was going to happen. Meanwhile, Dredge,
Yeah.
while all of that is going down...
So one thing really quick before
Yeah.
before you move on.
Yeah.
My tarot card was the Wheel of Fortune.
It was.
And it seems kind of fitting to me that Ogre went out the same way that he brought so many other people to their own fates.
Wow.
You live by the sword, and you die by the sword.
You did indeed. So essentially you're saying instead of the perpetrator, you became the victim.
Yep. He rolled the dice many
Live by
times.
the rage demon, die by the rage demon.
Wow. That's true. All right. Dredge or Suri, would you guys like to do something?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know how Dredge is going to follow that, but we'll see how this goes.
Might be a short game tonight, folks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of how I can make Dredge's death as poetic as that, but that's not going to happen. That's not his deal.
It's not a competition. I will say who the face was if you want.
Who the face? Oh, what? Like the guy I saw on the Yeah, sure. That might end up being relevant.
It looks very much like a star student of Dredge's.
Oh, what?
The person who first turned him on to the Radiant Word.
Ah! Like the student was, and this looks like a relative, perhaps?
A colleague. Or perhaps an ancestor.
Interesting. Well, we gotta get through these ghosts first.
Alright. Let's see what happens. So there are two ghosts coming at you screaming.
So, important thing is I did take Iron Will at the end of the last session, and am now immune to the terror that some supernatural entities inflict on sight.
I thought it's only ones that you've controlled.
That was from Compel. This is a different ability. It does say some, so I don't know if you want to decide that these guys don't count, but it might be relevant.
That's pretty cool.
I linked it in chat.
So it says some supernatural entities and says nothing else about the ability.
Right.
Is that... Got it.
So I'm guessing that's just so you can override it if you feel something is like extra
Well,
scary.
I think that's meant to be inclusive rather than exclusive, of saying that there are some supernatural entities that inflict terror. You're immune to that terror.
Oh, you read it as terror that some entities inflict.
Yeah.
As opposed to immune to some.
Like, not that you can't be afraid of them, but some supernatural entities inflict terror just by seeing them, and you're immune to that. So, like, to me, that means like when a ghost manifests.
Right, but I may not be immune to if they have some particularly scary thing that they do beyond that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just so reading it. Yeah, so they needed some like commas or something in there.
Yeah, most likely.
That's the way I read it anyway.
No, that makes sense. So yeah, the entire phrase, the terror that some supernatural entities inflict on sight, I am immune to that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this isn't on site. These guys are...
Because they've been there the whole time.
Well, partially that. But at least you do get a +1 dice to resistance rolls with resolve.
Yeah,
as
well that
so
was the
that's
main
pretty
reason
cool.
I took it. I was making a lot of resolve rolls.
But that is definitely worth noting. I think you do need to make a resolve roll.
Well, so you would be inflicting some, like, you have to run away type.
Oh,
thing,
you already
right?
resisted. That's what drove
Oh, I
Suri
did.
insane. That's what drove Suri over the edge.
Well, great.
So you've already done that roll. So, however, they are going to attack you. And what do you want to do about that? They are flying up to you to rake you with their ghostly fingers and suck out your life force.
So I have my lightning hook thing, which I've used to trap a ghost in the past, so that we know that is a thing I am able to do with that. I guess I'm gonna try to... I'll try to do 2 of them at once and just really, put a lot into it and see if I can cram both of them into a spirit bottle.
You're going to try to put both of them into a spirit bottle.
Well, I mean, I don't see... I could try one, and
You're
then the
just
other one
gonna-
just fucks me up.
You're just going to straight up try to command them?
Well, so yeah, I could. I'm thinking like it's a combination of the normal like lightning hook thing plus the compel ability a little bit, like just kind of put everything Dredge has got in terms of.
Well, I mean,
Ghost.
I'm not going to force you to pick exactly, but you get to describe how you do it.
Yeah, so I
Using
think like
what action? What action?
so
do you take?
it's. I mean, he's gonna attune. He's gonna reach out with his mind and using his arcane implement lightning hook and his mind just crush these two ghosts into a bottle, like just put everything he's got into it at this point, because this is high stakes. And he has heavy load as well, so we'll say he's been wearing his spirit mask the whole time underneath this whatever weird gas mask thing he's got, or hood thing he's got on.
Okay.
And we'll say he had spirit bottles as well, because that's relevant.
He had them the whole time
Oh yeah, just
for this
underneath
operation.
this. They're probably like, so in addition to this like bulky hazmat suit thing, he's probably got like a bandolier or a belt or something, and he has them like hanging off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in one hand we'll take out the lightning hook, and the other will hold a spirit bottle. And yeah, I think this is gonna just put what he can into this. Pushing myself is always too stressed, right? Which would that would immediately. Okay, well here we go.
Yeah. Anything else?
Well, I
this
can't
will
push
be-
myself.
This will
No
be
one's
desperate.
around.
This will be desperate.
Yep.
We'll say the effectiveness is standard.
Okay.
Although 2 ghosts is
Yeah. I mean, so it's not a normal just using a lightning hook, right? It is the compel ability, so I don't know how you want to factor that in with the 2 ghosts.
What does the compellability say?
That is, I can just straight up command. I could just command one of them, "Hey, you get in the bottle."
Without making a roll?
No, I make an attune roll, but it's like the normal lightning hook thing was also an attune roll. So it's like I'm trying to like combine these 2 things to get. I don't know. You can say it's limited. I mean, I don't have an argument really why it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, so the effectiveness will be standard. The problem is that if while you're commanding one of them, the other one might.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like maybe the way we think of this is I'm trying to like use the lightning hook on one of them while just telling the other one get in the bottle.
All right. Okay, go for it. So this is an attune
Okay.
roll, desperate
Yeah,
standard.
and I can't push myself because I'll immediately hit trauma.
Okay.
Neither of them can assist me. So do you have a devil's bargain?
Sure, I have a devil's bargain for you.
I've got a devil's bargain too.
Let's hear it.
Or one of the ghosts of one of the people who just died rises.
There are 5 ghosts of what's his face.
Maybe it's Corey's ghost.
Just actually Corey, not Ogre.
Yeah, Corey's ghost.
Like just wanders in.
Oh, when you die in the game, you die in real life. Did I not mention that?
Do we?
Oh crap, is the hitman already on his way?
That's interesting.
Corey did play his tarot card. He did complete his story.
I mean, that would be
So,
pretty interesting. I mean,
could
that's a
allow that
pretty
to
interesting
happen.
thing for if any of us survive, if we can get a hold of Ogre's ghost, whether Ogre's ghost would even want to be still a ghost, or because he seemed to have a really nice kind of accepting death there. So I think that's super interesting.
That's the devil's bargain.
You know,
It might not be.
It might not be
good for
Ogre,
you.
but like I think that'd be super cool if next season Dredge and Blend are trying to put Ogre into a hull and he doesn't want to be in a hull. If we make it through this. So I mean, Max, if you're up for that, or just that path, I'll take that one if you want to.
That's the path.
Okay.
I'm okay with it because Ogre completed his tarot card story.
Yeah.
He reversed his fortunes.
I mean, hang on, my dog is throwing up on the floor over there, so that's fun. Okay, let's get through Dredge's death quick so I can go deal with that.
All right, it's Desperate Standard.
I don't know where that
And
went.
you got a 5.
Hooray! Oh god, 2225. That last die always matters.
You whirl and focus on the woman. The female ghost whose long nails are reaching out toward you. She was staring out the window before, rotating around. Her essence collapses under the power of your will and flows into the bottle. With your other arm, you're reaching out, waving your electric hook to capture the Cavalier's ghost. However, you're not paying attention. And he gets right by it. And flies in. And bites down
Ooh.
to Suri sipping her ghost tea. It looks like the ghost is biting the back of your neck.
You.
To you, it's ripping out the very essence of what makes Dredge. What makes you, you. You begin to forget. You begin to fade away, not just from this world, but reality, as it eats at your life force. I'm going to ask you to take a level 3 harm. Ripped Essence.
Okay, so if I attempt to resist this, I could get a trauma immediately. But if I get a level 3 harm, we're all pretty effed. Because there's no one around to help me. So I think I have to I have to fight. Dredge is not going to go let his brains be sucked out by this ghost.
All right. Can he shake this off?
There's no reason to get any. Oh, I do get 1 bonus die from my special ability, right? I'm guessing that I should enter that here. I don't know if it'll take. Do you think it'll take that into account automatically?
Take what into account?
The +1 to resolve that I get from that ability I was talking about earlier.
I mean, you could open up the gear and look if they coded it in, but I
would assume they didn't.
I would assume not.
How would I?
If you see too many, just roll it, and if you see too many dice,
Just
then
drop the
take
last
off the last one.
Okay. So I'll add 1 in this menu, and then if it ends up being too many, we'll take it off.
Okay.
I got a 5, so I take 1 stress. Wait, so I added. Oh no, that's right. It did the right thing. I should have 3 because I get the 1 extra. Okay.
Congratulations.
So, just barely.
So that is going to go down to a level 2 harm.
You said ripped essence?
Mm-hmm.
That resets my healing clock, so that sucks.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
But you've captured one ghost. The other one, you captured one ghost.
So the 5 got me one of them in the bottle.
Exactly. You put one of them in the bottle. The other one is sucking out your life force and ripping at you.
Okay. I guess I have to do the metaphysical equivalent of slapping a mosquito off my neck.
Big effing mosquito.
Yeah. So, you know, can I use command again, or is that like
Sure.
just keep? I'm gonna keep yelling at ghosts
Does
until they all.
Old man yells at Cloud. Cloud is ghost. Do you? It doesn't say something like you can only do it once per score.
No, I just I mean we don't really have like rounds to combat, right? So it's just like how frequently does it make sense to be able to keep doing his cool thing?
That makes sense to me.
So yeah, he will reach behind him with his mind and force that other ghost into the other bottle that he has, because he does have 2. Still disparate?
It's still gonna be desperate.
And standard effect?
Yes, indeed. Don't forget, every time you guys make a desperate roll.
Oh, I know. I got 2 now.
Yeah.
Any exciting devil's bargains here?
You've already got the one.
Well, you had one before.
How about we increase the stakes of the one before?
What was going to be 1 is now 2.
Exactly. Exactly.
How
many different ways can I say that?
How many? Yeah. So I've dealt with 2 ghosts and possibly made 2 more.
Quite possibly.
But maybe those ones won't be compelled to attack us the way these ones were. So, yeah, I'll take that.
40% of the Tichette Hicks are coming back.
If their ghosts still look like that. Actually, it's not a bad thing to bring their ghosts back, because then maybe we can actually figure out who these people were before they all got bloodied and pulped by our friend. 5.
Another 5. Wow.
Yep.
Everyone needs to stop that.
Okay. So even as it's tugging at you, it follows your new command. Just tugging and pulling at your essence as it falls away into the bottle.
Dredge ends up inside his own spirit bottle.
Perhaps a bit of you is in there with it. And you start seeing double. Because your consciousness has been ripped at by the ghost, and you've got a piece of you in the bottle now.
Oh.
So go ahead and take a level 2 harm, split consciousness.
Well, so I have 2 level 2s already, so
that becomes a level 3.
Both of which I freaking forgot to apply because I'm terrible at this game. The 5 was the first die that I got, so it's not complete cheating, but anyway, I'm gonna resist that because otherwise this shit goes south, and here we go. This is probably the last roll for Dredge.
Oh my god!
What?
Oh, clinging to
My
life.
lord!
You actually clear a stress.
Oh my god, you actually clear a stress.
So
You're like,
what's the level 1? What's the level 1 version of split conscious?
Eureka moment. You clear a stresses. You're like, oh, I just understand something new about the psyche.
Well, yeah, being split in like who knows if anyone else has ever had part of their mind put in a spirit bottle while they were still alive. This is a novel experience. Level 1 harm could be distracted by exciting new learning.
Holy crap!
Do we like because he should still get a level 1 harm, right? So like
Yeah.
distracted, fascinated by new science.
I was just gonna say eureka moment, but distracted is good. Oh my god.
Do you want to switch to
crap.
Surrey for a minute while I go deal with my animals literally losing their lunch over the fireworks people are setting off?
All right.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
So Dredge is doing okay. How you doing, Suri?
I'm doing wonderful. I've got a nice cup of tea and a new friend and an octopus.
Have you figured out what trauma your character is going to have?
Yes. I was actually also going to go for unstable, just because that seems like
What does unstable say?
say.
Like, what is the longer? It's more than one word.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Thanks. I think you have the book, hon.
Well, yes, but I'm also GMing. And it's your character's trauma.
Yeah, I know. I can't.
You also have the you should have the PDF, by the way.
Right. I don't think it's on. I don't think I have it downloaded on this computer.
Okay. So do you want, like, you could push yourself to do something, possibly?
That's probably what I'm going to have to do because, yeah.
That's how we're handling it in this case. Emotional state is volatile. You can instantly rage or fall into despair, act impulsively, or freeze up. That's how it's going to affect you.
Yeah. And I think that makes sense because, that's functionally what's happening. In the case of this trauma is she's just kind of divorcing herself from reality in the face of everything going to shit all around.
Right. So she's kind of, is she just gonna be like, I'm sticking to the T, and whatever, I can't handle it. I just can't handle it.
Kind of, yeah. But I think that she's going to try to push.
Okay.
So she is sort of like tuning out all of the screaming and crunching that's happening simultaneous to this. And she just sort of turns to her friend and says, "This octopus is wonderful, but I wonder if you could help me find the thing that I came here for originally. I would like to be able to see it before I go. It's supposed to be quite the wonder."
Okay. ghost is like, "Oh, my dear, whatever are you speaking of?" Sip of ghost tea.
Okay, so I am going to... I'm going to push myself, I guess, to do a sway roll.
Okay. Are you saying anything beyond what you've already narrated?
No, yes. So she's going to look at him and say, Now, this isn't fair. I looked at your octopus, now you have to show me the possessed hands. It's only polite, after all, and I wouldn't want to ruin a perfectly nice tea with any hint of rudeness.
I looked at your octopus and it's only polite. Name of your sex tape.
Thank you, honey.
Okay, I'm going to say that this is a risky situation, and this is going to be standard effect.
Now, am I getting my bonus die for pushing myself, or am I just getting the downside of pushing myself without the bonus? Because that's what it takes to do something in this situation.
I think with injuries you get the bonus as well. Because you also have a lot of minuses. Normally. So I would say your thief's skill in dealing with ghosts is going to be applicable, and you can push yourself for +1 dice.
Perfect. The devil bargain? She asked, not really wanting to know.
Welcome back, Matt. The Devil's Bargain. The Devil's Bargain is... this is really going to be the last action roll that Suri can handle.
Ooh.
Absolutely not. I can't do that.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to take it.
6!
Nice.
Nice.
Thank
Another
God.
6. Okay.
Listen, the dice know that something is going on.
So the Taikarosi, the well-dressed Taikarosi says, "Oh, of course," and he gestures with his teacup toward the back of the ruined building, behind a pile of fallen masonry and wood. And you can kind of feel it, like a heartbeat in the night. You can sense that there's something out there. Something over
Right.
there.
I shake my teacup at him and I say, "No tricks now. I will be able to tell if you are lying."
He looks slightly offended. "My dear, that's not what I've been lying to you about."
Nice.
Excellent. I say, "Of course, I just have to check. You will allow me my little joke." And I'm going to get up and try to make my way over to where the box is.
That will cause you're going to have to push yourself to do that, I think. Because
Okay.
you are, there's all this chaos around you, and you've had a psychotic break.
All right, I take 2 more stress to pick my way across the floor, stepping around the ghost biting dread.
You make your way over there and climb over the wood. Meanwhile, the other 2 guys are fighting off all of these monsters. You kind of walk up these stairs scattered with bits of plaster and stone and splinters of wood, and you have to climb. I'm getting some lightning flashes over here, so that's exciting.
Nice.
You have to climb over this fallen balustrade. Kenny wants to know, are the dogs okay, Matt?
The one dog is doing okay now, but she's very anxious because of 4th of July fireworks.
Alright. You pick your way over like the collapsed balustrade and through like this open, what was once a room, but it's now just a collapsed bunch of debris. And you see this weird sarcophagus. With a man kind of carved onto the lid.
Does it look like our buddy? The scientist?
It looks... does it look like your buddy? Does it look like Faintree Kesserin?
Yes.
I'm trying to remember if you ever saw a picture of him. I guess you saw something.
I think I saw a picture of him in one of the books, and we've also had multiple, like, physical descriptions.
Alright, it definitely fits his description.
Alrighty. Well, so Suri's gonna kind of look down toward the staircase and see the blood gushing down the hallway, a la The Shining scene with the elevator. And she's just going to shrug and say, "Well, I suppose no one will help me," and try to open the sarcophagus by herself.
Unfortunately, it has some things, some timbers fallen on it. And it is going to be physically taxing. You need ogres to come in here and help you.
Ogre with his new mechanical hull body that we will build for him.
Well,
Meanwhile, the screaming gets closer.
Yeah, that's probably fine. We don't have to worry about that.
I'm just pretending it's not happening.
It's getting quite loud now.
Maybe it's just like the bus. Like, the bus in Deathlands probably screams, so it's fine.
You guys glance around. There's the noise of combat. Gunshot sounds of harpoon guns. And the have died down just outside the ruined building. From your slightly higher up vantage point, Suri, you can see a body on the stairs. One of the cloaked and masked men has crumpled. But you can't really see much more or the bottom of the stairs.
Right.
Dredge, you have captured the ghosts.
Yeah.
The screaming is approaching, and whatever was circling up overhead, the circle is tightening.
Sorry, I missed what Suri actually did. Is she moving towards the sarcophagus?
She found the sarcophagus.
I'm standing
Okay,
at the
I will-
sarcophagus. It has some wood on top of it, and I can't open it. But
Okay, I will run over and feebly attempt to help her open it, I guess. Dredge is not a strong man, though.
Okay, this is going to be an action roll. So how would you want to go about opening it? The two of you.
well,
Do I think I could compel a ghost to open it for us?
I brought all of that climbing gear with me,
Of course you did.
as well, you know. So,
Just like we talked about.
right. Well, there's a lot of ruined buildings out here, and we thought that it might be useful to bring some climbing gear just in case we had to get into a building that didn't have a staircase.
The screaming is really close now.
So I am going to pull out a rope and a grappling hook and try to tie the rope around the timbers or hook the hook around the timbers, whichever looks like it would be most useful. And then Dredge and I can work together to pull it off.
Yeah, I don't have any better ideas. Hang on.
Okay. You hook up a very makeshift...
I can't afford demolition tools. I don't have enough load left.
I mean, I thought about demolition tools, but then I'm worried that we're going to wind up destroying the artifact.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Go for it, I guess. I don't have any better ideas, and we don't have a ton of time. I guess I could use... No, I can't do that. Never mind. I can't push myself, so I can't do much of anything.
So
By the
you
way,
just...
guys, don't forget that you've got 2 free load that you can use specifically for tools and equipment.
Oh! Okay, well then we could have demolition tools and stuff.
If you can use the demolition tools, I don't think that I would be able to use them deftly
Well,
enough.
I have a point in wreck, if that's what you mean by use demolition tools.
That works.
I will precisely wreck this sarcophagus.
You cannot precisely wreck things normally.
Oh, I am a scientist.
You can try to pulverize the wood.
I've also got like burned fingers and. All
You
sorts
guys
of
could
shit
also,
wrong with me.
do like a flashback to acquire some heavy load moving equipment, like a block and tackle.
So what is actually preventing the?
There's a big timber fallen from the roof, lying
Okay.
athwart the sarcophagus lid.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I had missed that part of the scene description. I mean, could we just use call a large weapon like an axe, and just chop through it?
While you guys are figuring this out, trying to figure it out, trying to discuss what's going on,
The
something
screaming.
something floats over the threshold. 2 somethings, actually. Suri, you're kind of just out of it.
Oh, that's right.
just trying to survive. So you're not really paying attention. But Dredge, you notice the familiar shimmering forms of two freshly risen ghosts. They are still trying to, like, walk on the ground.
Right.
Two pale figures kind of creeping around. They aren't wearing any of their Deathlands equipment. But it looks like a young man and a middle-aged woman.
Neither of them look like an extremely angry friend of mine.
Ogre, maybe... Ogre, what do you think? Would you like to... Would you like to rise? or do you think that riding off into the darkness with Suri is the...
With Sarah.
Syrah, not with me.
Syrah.
I mean, when does Ogre ever get what he wants?
When he's dead.
When he's dead.
Yeah, I don't think that he has any particular desire to rise. I mean, if there's something that happens, if you want,
his ghost rises whether you like it or not. The question is,
right? Yes.
Whether you think that's the, do you want to float in?
Not exactly. No.
Okay.
Okay. You don't want to do that next season plot where we build you a mechanical.
Well, maybe next
body.
season, but for now,
that might happen. But if it does, I don't see myself playing that character. That's
only character deaths with time to the.
Okay, if Dredge doesn't if Dredge doesn't recognize either one of them, then he's gonna pull out that axe that we brought in case we encountered building damage that we needed to chop through.
Oh,
and he's gonna try to wreck that post with the axe.
So you're gonna ignore the two ghosts who just floated in and just
for now
chop.
Yes. Although, yeah, okay. So I have one remaining.
All right.
Load, but a large weapon is 2. I guess he has a hatchet, so this is gonna be shitty. Because, demolition tools does not come with an axe, and an unusual weapon could be a hatchet. I don't know. What do you think, Max? Is there a way to get an axe with only 1 load?
I'm just not sure how much use a hatchet, like a little hand.
Well, I know, yeah. That's...
You're saying that you don't have enough load room for an axe?
Yeah, I can't do large weapon because it's 2 load.
Gotcha.
So, and it's not tools, like demolition tools. For whatever reason, we have that whole special thing. But
I mean, you could flashback, but it would cost stress.
I mean, could we argue that an axe is a demolition tool? Like the sledgehammer has a sharpened other side to it?
You want to say that there's an axe included in your demolition tools?
Or that just, it says a sledgehammer and iron spikes, and, the back of the sledgehammer could be an axe head. It could do both.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna... Dredge is gonna kill himself trying to chop through this thing. That
sounds like a wreck roll.
Yeah. Is this a desperate wreck?
No, actually. This is just risky. Because there is a crumbling building. And you aren't necessarily using a wreck in this case can definitely get you into some trouble.
Yeah, bring the whole building down.
Yep.
Effect.
And the effect will be standard.
And Devil's Bargain.
And the Devil's Bargain will be... You also see Syrah riding the screaming lion when it arrives.
Okay. I mean, that seems like a cool thing to have seen. So that would be 1 bonus die. However, I have 2 harms that seem relevant. So I'm actually at -1. So this is going to be real bad.
Oh my god!
Well, at least I didn't get like a 6 and a 1 and had to take the 1.
So that's a fail, my friend.
Yeah, I failed to
So you start chopping at the wood, and Suri, you're just watching, waiting.
It's not a very sharp axe. It may not even be an axe. Maybe it is just a sledgehammer.
It shifts over. And then some masonry that the leaning log was holding up shifts over as well. And it falls, striking Dredge as he's struggling with the wood. So you are going to take, as the blocks of stone hit you. You're going to take a level 2 harm.
Mm-hmm. Crushed skull.
That doesn't seem like a level 2.
Yeah, fair enough.
Broken shoulder.
Okay, so I have 2 level 2 harms already. So I'm gonna try to resist this, and we'll see how that goes.
There's another consequence.
Oh no.
Which is that...
Well, actually, I have 2 level 1 harms as well, so even if I were to resist it and it were to go down to level 1 harm, I'd still end up with a level 3 harm. So I think Dredge is just
No,
effed.
I thought you had 3 level 1 slots, isn't that right?
No, just on the
Nope,
sheet there's only
have 2.
Oh.
I think Dredge might have been killed by falling masonry, just like that old crazy lady predicted.
Just like that old lady predicted? What are you talking
I mean,
about?
who saw this coming? Seriously. Should we just say he's knocked out? But is that the level 3 version of this? Like,
Yeah? Did you take the devil's bargain?
I did. That's what brought me up to -1. Yep. Okay.
So
I am
you're
the
knocked-
least equipped to be left by myself, you guys.
You
Yeah.
are
Well,
knocked-
Dredge was the least equipped to be doing any sort of masonry work, so.
Yep, so take brained by a brick. As your level 3 harm.
Oh my god.
Not quite as epic as ogres.
I feel you that we should have reversed everything.
Yeah. but like, does the lion ride up to Dredge and like, Ogre's daughter asked him if he wants to go play? Cause like that would be nice.
What is Dredge's tarot card?
It was the Hierophant, and he has not made enough progress on it for it to be relevant. There were plans, but they didn't really come together.
Damn, you guys.
What have we learned?
So the screaming lion arrives. And the traumatized and freaking out Suri is the only one who could see it. And where before, when you first heard the screaming, you wanted to freeze in place. Now you feel this very strong urge to follow him. And in your traumatized state, it's difficult to say no. The screaming tugs at you, Suri. And there's no one around to stop you.
Can I attempt to resist?
You can attempt it. I'm going to apply... Oh, it doesn't let you do minus dice, does it? It just rolls it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only a input for bonus dice. So I call
Alright.
it now which die you're gonna, or you can't apply them on.
Alright. Well, this is a resolve roll. As the strange spirit known as the Screaming Lion approaches and calls to you.
Alright.
What stress are you back up to?
6.
Okay. Well, you don't notice as a ghost slips into Dredge's brain and possesses him.
His brain being slightly outside of his skull on the floor.
Mm-hmm. But Dredge will stand up. Not under his own volition.
So he probably looks more in control of his body than usual.
And stiffly, jerkily, like a puppet on strings, begins to walk after the Screaming Lion, away from the ruined building. Do you want to do anything, Suri?
Well,
Do you want to try to go back to the city?
yeah, I think that's my only option at this point.
I think it is. Oh, man. So, Dredge.
Uh-huh.
having been struck in the head and strained to the point of breaking by all of the spirits you've commanded, one is now in command of your body.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is Dredge still actually conscious in any way?
he's dreaming.
Okay.
What do you think Dredge would dream as he puppeteers, as he's puppeted across the Deathlands?
I'm picturing sort of like infinite glowing chalk writings, scribblings, just sort of in every direction, just like picture like a feverish like discovery of formula and rapidly like thinking he's like discovering all these secrets of the universe and things as he's sort of losing all actual connection to reality.
Wow. Well, I'm going to ask you to make a fortune roll to see if the ghost that possessed you takes you back to the city. As sometimes happens to Deathland scavengers.
How many dice is a fortune roll?
Just one die in this case. I don't think it's based on any statistic, really. Oh my god.
My best roll of the night.
You know what? Roll one more just to see if you get a crit.
Wow.
Nope.
Wow.
Okay. We're just checking.
Got the full spread. Like, so his body like floats in on the tide, all like rotted. So
well,
technically, it made it back.
that might have been what you got if you got a 5.
So what? A 6 and then a 1 is it shows up, but he wrecked all my stuff.
No. I just wanted to see if you got a crit.
Yeah.
So, Suri, you make your way back to the city. And, you were in a daze the whole time. But eventually, a few days later, you come out of it. And you're alone in the lair. Meanwhile, Dredge, you dream of these scribbles.
Mm-hmm.
And possessed, your body is puppeted back to the city, where somehow the silver nails do not hunt you down, and the spirit wardens don't catch that you're possessed. And you integrate into society. Your body puppeted by a spirit that is not your own. However, when you try to go back to whatever... Well, actually... when you try to go back to the job that you had, they immediately recognize that you are not in the body that you left with.
Like the possessing ghost like brings it back to the university, you mean?
No. Well, actually, yes.
I'm
But
picturing this is what fills the Dredge gets kicked out of the library clock.
But it just so happens that these people know a thing or two about possession.
One of Dredge's many tattoos probably says something like, "If possessed, please return to Charter Hall Library."
And so, when you awaken, Dredge, you are surrounded by a bunch of seated figures chanting, hoods pulled low over their faces. And
Like
they call
awakened
themselves
properly?
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
And they call themselves the Circle of Flame. And demand that you give them everything. Everything you know, everything that happened to you. And they claim a hold over you for releasing your body from this possession.
Is that like is that like somehow a like a metaphysical binding, or is that just a like they've got me surrounded kind of like?
You feel like it might be metaphysical.
Okay. Well, we'll start with the beginning. Dredge spent hours telling them all about boring academic bullshit.
You spill your secrets. They seem to take it down. They know an awful lot about these matters, more than most people you've talked to. They keep you for a few days. And then release you.
Is it all like question and answer, or is there any amount of like collaborative like Dredge is always looking for peers, essentially.
You get the sense that they might be peers, but they are interrogating you.
Okay. Dredge will, try to like treat them as like colleagues as much as he is able to.
It's a traumatic
even
experience.
Even if it's not like, appropriate.
And getting possessed was even more traumatic. It was not all eating butterflies and fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was being puppeted, and your body is the worse for it, as is your mind, which was not your own. And it's almost like you were disassembled and put back together, and not all of the pieces in your brain pan are put back in exactly the right place.
Both metaphysically and physically, presumably.
Right.
That brick did something.
That brick hurt you. So you're going to take a trauma. And I'll let you decide how that manifests, but you have been traumatized by possession.
That's, seems like a really low-cost way of not dying, overall, so...
Well, your body is definitely damaged. So there's that as well. And you seem to owe... The Circle of Flame seems to think you owe them something now. All right. Well, guys. It was low cost. I mean, you rolled a 6 on your fortune roll.
Yeah.
So,
Unfortunately, I have to ask for a 10-minute break so that I can go take care of the baby.
Yeah, that's fine.
that is fine. Go do that. And, I don't know, guys. Like, I feel like it's this weird feeling of, like, I don't really know what happens now. But I guess we'll find out together. Corey.
Yes.
I'm sorry your character died.
That's all right. That's pretty much the way I would have wanted him to go if he was gonna die.
I especially wish, yeah, I'm glad of that. Do you want to make a new character? Do you want Echo to come back for a repeat appearance? What do you want to do?
I'm not sure yet.
You need some time to think about it?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm feeling Echo coming back. But
Okay. All right. Well, what should we do, guys? Yeah.
So as much as I like Dredge at a high level, I wouldn't mind playing a totally different character completely if we wanted to do a big break.
I mean, maybe that's where we're headed. Maybe this is the end of season 2.
Yeah, I mean,
I was
so-
kind of expecting this to take longer.
well, so
Honestly.
we've at this point, like, Blend is who knows where, and Wake only showed up for that one session, and Echo is somewhere. Ogre's dead. Dredge is pretty messed up, and I don't know what's up with Suri.
Yeah, I mean, if there was ever an event that might make Dredge retire, this feels like it might have been it.
Or just completely change his. Like he was only a dotted line attached to Rare Imports, right? He kind of thought of himself as an employee.
Oh, really?
So, with the whole leadership kind of in shambles, he might just wander off and do his own thing.
Sure, if you want. It's been a hell of a ride.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like there was a bunch of stuff we had talked about wanting to try, like early on before Rare Imports had coalesced into like a thing, and so I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind going back and just doing crew creation and everything all over again, because I think we could come up with some fun stuff.
Well, let's finish the payoff.
Who to who?
Well, you didn't earn any coin.
Correct.
I thought maybe you guys were going to grab the frozen octopus and run, but that didn't happen.
That would have been probably a much smarter play.
Not necessarily.
I mean, this all went pretty south as soon as we set foot in the Deathlands, I think. So
it was a heck of a
this
score.
was the right arc for the character that was Rare Imports.
Well, Rare Imports will get some rep despite failing the mission. Because 2 of you did technically survive. Even if
Technically.
you are retiring right after.
Even if we got put back together wrong.
Yeah. So, you're gonna get 2 rep. I think that's about right. And no coin. And you are gonna get 2 heat. From, well, everything that happened.
From killing like 5 dudes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there's a
plus 2
shit ton
from
of heat.
killing.
Right? It's
Well, it's for any killing is plus 2 heat. So
Oh,
it's
so
4
once you
heat
kill-
total.
once you kill one.
Once there's
Would it-
murder.
Yeah. Would.
Um,
Yeah, I guess
go
that
ahead.
makes sense. I was just wondering if that means the same thing in the Deathlands as it does in Duskfall.
It does. Pretty much.
Well, I mean, there's got to be some amount of
Um,
heat for they went into the Deathlands. Like we're probably not supposed to have done that.
You also generated a little heat when you went through the gate.
Yeah.
And came
Yeah, that
back.
wasn't smooth.
Suri came back crazy. Dredge came back possessed. You're also going to get plus 1 heat for situation happen on hostile turf.
Okay.
So yeah, might be time to dissolve this crew. They are now Duskfall's most wanted.
So yeah. I
Well,
think,
even with all that, we didn't hit Wanted level 2.
Wow.
Wow. That's surprising. How close are you?
3 heat away.
Hmm.
Yeah, we did a really good job actually of reducing our heat
Last time, yeah.
before going into this mission.
All right. Well,
We were on the verge for a while.
Why don't you roll for entanglements, Corey?
Sure. Hey, it's a 2.
Nice.
That makes me happy.
That's appropriate.
Hmm. How much heat do you have? 6?
Yeah.
Nice. So on top of everything else, Suri's going to get interrogated.
Oh boy.
That sounds right. I mean, she's the only one that possibly could be. What the hell happened out there?
So yeah, Season 2 of Rare Imports. I think it's really early to end the session, but it's like, I don't really know.
Do we
We
want
kinda-
to start talking about what's next, or
Sure! I'm
Okay.
down. I don't mind
Yeah.
doing that on stream.
we should definitely wait for Kate to get back.
Alright, I'm back.
Oh, there she
Oh,
is. That was
perfect
good timing.
Well, Kate,
Uh,
I don't know what you heard, but we're looking
Nothing.
at the dissolution of Rare Imports.
Holy shit.
Well, like you tell me. Like I could let Dredge retire at this point happily, or I could let
He's a
him
broken man.
wander off into some other gang or anything. I'm totally open here. I would happily make a new crew, new character, different game system.
Sure.
I was trying to narrate. I was trying to narrate it like Dredge has become like a broken man now. He was
More broken.
possessed. Well, he was strange, but now he the thing that kind of made him who he was this obsession with ghosts and demons, and this experience has kind of hasn't lessened his obsession, but it's definitely given him like a different fear of it.
I actually picked Obsessed as the new trauma.
Right. So I don't know. It's like he's not going to have time for a criminal crew anymore.
Right.
It's just going to be kind of
I think
spiraling.
if anything, he's decided that the whole crew and criminality aspect is unnecessary. Like he could have just wandered off into the Deathlands on his own. Like he didn't need the others.
If you hadn't rolled a 6 right there, then you were going to be dead. So.
Oh, I know. But I was
Um,
fine with him being dead as well. If it's like he lived, he died the
Well-
way he lived, poorly
well-
choosing to do things he shouldn't.
Maybe the Circle of Flame, maybe they just keep him.
Could be that, yeah.
They seem to know a lot about magical artifacts, like way
He
more
could,
than Rare
He could
Imports
work
ever
his
did.
way up through their ranks, become their leader. Whatever.
That's all right.
I mean, that's more like what his tarot card was all about.
Okay, so Suri, we just rolled for entanglements, and Suri's going to be kind of captured by the Bluecoats and interrogated.
Oh my god.
Which in her already fragile state is probably not going to go well.
Yeah, no, she's not gonna like that.
So one idea that had been floated is maybe this is the end of Rare Imports, and maybe we start a new, a season 3 of this game with a new crew, or maybe some other
finally
kind of
make
thing.
that cult we were talking about, or
I mean,
Or
we
that
do have a lot of
metaphysical-
fun with the metaphysical aspects of this game.
the metaphysical ghost wrestling.
Sure.
I guess my session 0 crew 2, says Kenny. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want, we could certainly look at that.
You were also talking about playing what is it? The cyberpunk version.
Yeah,
Of this.
I'm really kind of excited by the idea of trying Karma in the Dark, which is a kind of a version of this game or this rule set, basically in the Shadowrun setting, essentially. Which I think is fun and a very different feeling with cyberpunk to this game. So if people are excited by that idea, I'd certainly think that was a fun campaign to try
I think
out.
that sounds great myself.
Well, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm definitely happy playing Karma in the Dark. I mean, I'm a big fan of Shadowrun and Cyberpunk in general. And so
Yeah.
getting to see that style of game applied with the Blades in the Dark rule set, I think could be really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
would
been
agree.
saying, like, since the first time we played Shadowrun, that I would love that game if it had a different rule set.
Yeah, if you didn't have to spend 40 minutes hacking.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yep. I mean, in this game, it'd be a lot simpler.
Yeah. I think this game system fixes a lot of the problems with Shadowrun, honestly. So
Well,
I would be up for
I'd certainly be into that, and actually, I wouldn't mind coming back to Rare Imports at some point. This really feels like a.
I
ending
love
to me.
Duskfall. I would happily play any number of games in this setting, but I'm also open for whatever. I will say, Lindsay is less likely to be interested in a Shadowrun
in a
type game.
cyberpunk type game.
Yeah, she's just not as into that as I am. But she's also
Okay.
not super. She hasn't been super attentive showing up for this, so it's not.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm also happy just doing a new crew in Blades in the Dark as well. Like, that's also something that seems really engaging to me. I still have a lot of fun in Duskfall.
Okay. Well, I think either way, there's a bit of prep that would need to happen. For me to kind of go and create like a cyberpunk campaign on Roll20, there's going to be a bit of prep that goes into that. And I think, if we're doing a different crew set in Duskfall, there's also prep, and I'm not sure, we could stream some of that potentially as well. But yeah, I think either way, either of those options, there's definitely a bit of preparation that needs to be done. One thing is that Yeah. Yeah, I personally would like to do something different. I always feel a little restricted by settings made by other people. I have a hard time like throwing stuff out in order to do whatever I
Yep.
want.
I know exactly the feeling you're talking about.
Yeah.
I had the same problem.
I have that problem in
Forgotten Realms
general.
games.
I have that problem in general, and it's especially bad in this game. It's especially bad in this game because everything is so interconnected.
Yeah.
And it often feels like if I make something up and then it contradicts something in the book, like it breaks.
Well, and
It
there was
actually
not
breaks
really a good
things.
index of all the our contacts. If you wanted to make up something about our
Yeah.
contacts, it turns out they were real significant people in the fluff.
Yeah, and then and sometimes that doesn't matter, and then other times it does because it's like, oh well, this person like for example, Suri not knowing that Bajo Baz is a really important character who's like the head of a gang that's really significant, and it's like, well, if I change something there, it changes the whole flavor of that gang, and it changes their relationship with the other gang, and it's all very, very interconnected, and it's just really, it's not a bad thing. That's a good thing about the setting, but it makes it really, it makes burnout easy for me.
Yeah. So, if you are willing to do actual content generation, which it seems like you are, I would say let's do whatever you want to do.
Well, yeah.
I will. It's harder for the party to make stuff up in a setting that's all yours.
Sure.
But we hadn't really been doing a ton of that. We didn't really.
Actually,
do a lot
I disagree. It's easier for you to make stuff up too because then I can be flexible.
Sure. But, I feel like we didn't do as much of the players decide all the a bunch of details. We mostly left it to you to come up with the actual details. So we don't really gain anything from us knowing all about Duskfall.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, Kate's pretty excited about the cyberpunk aspect, as am I, and I kind of like the idea of doing something with a totally different feel.
How far
not
on
totally
the
different, but-
Shadowrun end of the spectrum is it? Is it magic? Is it high magic as well as high tech?
Yeah,
Okay.
fantasy cyberpunk.
Okay, yeah, I'm down for that. I've always wanted. I never successfully played actual tabletop Shadowrun because it was so tedious.
Well, I've loved reading the lore for
Exactly.
Shadowrun. It's a fantastic setting.
And we were talking about it in Twitch a little bit, the
Yeah.
Hong Kong game that Harebrained Schemes made was really good.
I haven't played the Hong Kong one.
The Hong Kong one is really good.
I've had it on my desktop for 3 years. No, never
It's-
opened it.
It's super cool. It was
Because
so
because
rich.
we stopped the previous game with 10 minutes left and didn't finish it.
Oh wow.
Anyway, yeah, okay.
Grimslag had a fun idea of taking a bunch of the Seattle content and moving it to Fairfax.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. I think well, we'll talk about it. There's some prep that would need to happen.
You have a
there's
PDF
also
for the
the
new
PDF.
version
The
of this
PDF is
thing, right?
available for free online, so
Okay.
you can just download it, grab it.
Is there
breeze to
any
read.
setting content in there, or is it 100%
So there is,
mechanics?
but the setting content is mainly random tables to generate it.
Okay, cool.
So it's there's a little bit of setting. It's magic comes from the source, and
Right.
then there's a table of 8 things that what is the source, and then you just randomly generate your own world, which I kind of love.
Yeah.
And so
It's in our setting. It's sun magic.
if you've ever played Fate, it's kind of if you've ever played the Fate system, then it's kind of or specifically the Dresden Files fate system. It's kind of like everyone gets to create the city or the setting.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Together, which is pretty neat.
Is that session 0? Is like create the world?
It could be for us.
Okay. Yeah, this sounds great. I'll go read it before next week.
All right. Well, cool.
And by read it before next week, I mean like immediately after we get off of this call.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're all good with it, let's do the epilogue of Rare Imports. All right. So, Dredge. Where does Dredge wash up after he returns possessed, is interrogated by the Circle of the Flame, goes and finds Suri is being interrogated by the police, by the Bluecoats. Where does he go? What does he do?
So he had his vice purveyor was a cultist in Night Market, and so I think he would sort of make his way back there.
The tattoo artist woman?
Well, there was the tattoo artist was a different person. This was
Right.
the one who basically told him about symbols and just would sketch things and or you know like draw them in various substances. But I think he sort of I'm picturing he ends up like I don't know, like teaching a bunch of like drugged out crazy homeless people in Night Market, like at a cobbled together like blackboard, and he's just like ranting and scribbling insane things on like an alley wall. And he's like he basically holds like lecture essentially, but to various like completely insane, you know, like wretches from this district. he's just like an itinerant lecture hobo.
Dredge becomes an itinerant lecturing hobo, dodging the spirit wardens and bluecoats who would like to pick him up for questioning.
And he's probably
got
got
like a small following of down on their luck folks who...
He's probably got an assortment of ghosts he's captured that he keeps with him in jars and talks to them all the time, and they are his colleagues. He had the apprentice of the guy we were supposed to find the hands of.
He did.
So he probably still has that guy. He probably still talks to that guy. Would have gone. Maybe he went back to the lair and grabbed that spirit bottle and some of his other stuff.
He grabs that from the lair,
Yeah.
says goodbye to Suri, and starts his new life as a mad scribble-on-wall guy. He keeps writing stuff down
like
that he thinks he dreamed while he was possessed.
Right, exactly. And he can never quite remember it, you know. The math doesn't quite work anymore. He's like picture like, you know, like the mathematicians that like studied this one problem their whole life and it like drove them mad. You know, same deal. Like he had it solved when he was possessed.
Right.
And now he can't make it work. And it just drives him, it just like that's the thing he's obsessed with. That's his new trauma.
Right. And it drives him obsessed, it drives him crazy.
Yep. And he also becomes sort of this teacher of people, and that's kind of where his tarot card was kind of leading, I guess. The Hierophant. He preaches almost more than he teaches.
Right.
So I think that's where he ends up. I don't know what happens to him a year later, but I think that's the immediate aftermath. He probably ends up in a cult.
He ends up forming his own street cult, but with
Yeah,
not much organization to it.
But it's not a cult. It's a cult. It's a school.
He's well, he's more like a devil preacher.
Yeah, it's the Academy of the Radiant Word. It's not a cult.
Sorry. What happens to you?
Yep. Well, Sori's not doing great. She's got multiple traumas, and she's been picked up by the Bluecoats and interrogated rather roughly.
Yeah.
So, I imagine that she has a pretty big grudge against her religion.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. Probably especially once she finds out about Al-Hazred.
Indeed.
The man who drove her away from her homeland.
Oh, what does she find out about him?
That he told Lord Pendrain to send you on this death mission.
Well, that's pretty
That
fucked.
explains a lot.
Well, in that case, I think that Sori is going to pretty much she's going to pay one last visit to Lord Pendrain after she's in jail, under the guise of trying to talk to him about this ongoing mission. And she's gonna hit him in the face.
She's gonna what him in the face?
Shoot him with a gun.
Shoot him in the face. Wow.
Is it like a weird gun or just a normal gun?
The weirdest gun she can find.
That probably ends in her death.
It probably does.
But she dies having taken the ultimate revenge.
And perhaps, given where all of this happens, maybe she ends up joining the echoes that she worshipped.
She probably does.
Maybe that wouldn't be so bad.
She
Oh,
probably
but then, like,
would.
does what's his face come and like talk to you forever?
So maybe it
That's
would be
terrible.
so bad.
He's
Her
like,
ghost.
remember that time I sent you on that death mission? That was great.
Yeah, but I have ghost insaney powers now.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so maybe he doesn't come and talk to you then, because he can't face you.
Literally, because he has no face.
Ooh.
Right.
Ogre.
Mm-hmm.
As you ride off, your spirit inhabiting the Deathlands, believing that it has achieved its goal. What happens to Mara and Syrah?
So, Ogre is, despite a lot of the evidence, not a complete idiot. And he had some inkling that this, while maybe not on this particular mission, but this was pretty likely to be how his story would end. And so he had set up a kind of a dead man switch for a letter.
Oh, okay.
Where, every time he would go on a mission, he would set something up so that a letter would be sent within probably the next week, and then he would, or whenever he would get back from the mission, he would cancel that order.
Probably had a lawyer or something.
Yeah.
A solicitor.
Yeah, he had enough wealth at this point that he probably could have managed something like this with his stash. And so this time the letter does go off and it gets sent to Mara, and it explains that he had been doing some dangerous things in order to try to get himself into a position where he could properly provide for Syrah, and those plans had gone awry. And so he would want to make sure that Syrah knew that no matter what anybody said about him, everything that he did was to help her and to protect her. And then for Mara, he would leave details about all of the money that he left behind, and giving her his estate as a custodian until Syrah was ready to take it.
All right. And does it say anything else?
It probably has a more, or it probably does have another section that's addressed to Syrah directly, and just kind of saying that he's really sorry, but he's not going to be able to come around anymore, but that he loves her very much, and that someday, hopefully a long, long time from now, she'll see him again.
Wow. Someday, a long, long time from now, you'll see me again. That about right?
Yep.
And that's the final shot of our show. Is that letter. And that last line. Signed, Ogre of Rare Imports. Okay. Whew! Awesome game, you guys. I know it was kind of sad, but it felt properly tragic.
Yeah.
And I felt like Rare Imports couldn't have ended any other way.
Of course we took a job that was meant to kill us, and then,
Hey, that job only had a 33% mortality rate.
If anything, we did great.
It took multiple flashbacks to kill all of us.
I mean, did we ever once have a thing where we were like hitting something below our tier or at a weak point? I don't think we did.
Yeah, at the boat mission.
That was the only time.
Well, that's
'Cause
the one
I
that
think
comes to mind.
we pretty consistently punched upwards.
And the boat mission, we still dealt with that one adventurer who was definitely not tier 1.
Oh yeah.
And we were tier 0 at
Also,
that time.
there were like
still.
twice as many of us at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paris and
We had
Kayas.
we had some staffing problems since then.
Very true. Well, you guys, that's the end of this game. We shall pick it up later on, and possibly play Karma in the Dark. Kind of a season 3 genre shift.
Yeah.
We're going JoJo's Bizarre Adventure style.
Now it's the future, and there's magic.
Well, there was always magic.
Nah, not really. There's a lot more magic.
Yeah.
It's not just ghosts and electricity.
All right. Well, we will. I think this is the right place to sign off. So, someday, not so long from now, you'll see us again. Thank you so very much to Matt, player of Dredge, Corey, player of Ogre, and of course the lovely Kate, player of Suri. We shall be turning off the stream for tonight. You guys are awesome players, and I can't wait to hit the next game.
You've been fantastic too, Max. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much. It's been fun learning how to learning this system and whatnot. So without further ado, good night. Until next time.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.